Hey, what's up guys, TechTime here and I'm back again with a brand new video. So Motorola has officially announced the 2026 Moto G Play. And I was looking back at my videos and the last time I did a video on the Moto G Play was the 2023 model. So we're looking at almost 3 years since then. Now they did change some things from its previous predecessor, and the changes are kind of boring in a way, just because this phone joins the lineup of the 25 Moto G, the 25 Moto G Power, Moto G Stylus, and there's just a lot of competition when it comes to this device itself. However, let's have a conversation about it. So from a design perspective, like I said, it uses the same vegan leather material that we're used to with Motorola nowadays, and it does have this water repellent design, your Corning Gorilla Glass 3 in the front, and this phone does weigh 202 grams and does also have USB-C at the bottom. You still get a headphone jack and a decently improved speaker. Now we're going to take a listen to that once we actually get the phone in-house. Okay, and other than element protection, as far as design goes, this is pretty much it. I mean, it's nothing too crazy or too dramatically different from different Motorola devices that we see nowadays. However, from the previous Moto G Play, it is definite improvement. And like I said, the speaker did also get a boost, so the earpiece itself also acts as sort of a subwoofer to give us more of a stereo feel. Now from a performance perspective, don't get your hopes too up. So this phone does use the MediaTek Dimensity 6300 processor, and this phone does bring 5G support to its G Play lineup. So previous generation were 4G only, this time you get 5G support. And as far as I'm concerned, from a performance perspective, it's not going to be too crazy, right? You only get 4 gigabytes of RAM in this device, and you only get a standard 64 gigabyte of storage. And the RAM itself, though, is boostable up to 12 gigs with RAM boost, but you got to also keep in mind that the RAM boost uses the storage, and the storage is already low at 64 gigabytes. So the performance is not going to be where this phone shines. However, battery life seems to be pretty solid, so you will get a 5200 milliamp hour battery, which is a definite improvement from the previous generation. Now, the camera itself also received a slight improvement, so you will get a 32 megapixel main sensor, and you will get a secondary sensor that will act as sort of your macro sensor, so no ultra wide or anything crazy like that, but that is to be expected at a phone that's going to be in the lower end of the spectrum. You will also get an 8 megapixel selfie camera, and this phone is only maxed out to shoot full HD video, so no 4K video support, and it also maxes at 30 frames per second. Which basically translates that this phone will not have the utmost focus on the camera experience. It's going to have a camera, it's going to work, but your expectations need to be at an all-time minimum. Now, I do want to speak on the display. So you will get a 720p panel on this device, which, again, it's not going to be the craziest thing, but it does get bright and it does support 120 Hz of refresh rate. I've said this in the past, I'd rather sacrifice the high refresh rate for a 1080p panel before I get a 720p panel and put a high refresh rate in it. Now, pricing has not been officially released by Motorola, but analysts have said that this phone will come out at $169, which, to be honest with you, is considering the competition, is a little bit more on the expensive side, considering what this phone actually brings to the table. However, we'll see what this phone brings when I actually get it in-house and get it in my hand. So with that being said, I do want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.